So in my last video I showed you how I selected all the seeds I'm going to use for this coming growing season. In that video I mentioned that I was going to produce my own planting and sowing calendar. I've done that now and I'm going to share this with you. But not only am I going to do that, I'm actually going to give you the calendar that I've produced absolutely free, and I'm going to show you how to use it. So if you want a copy of the calendar, then stay tuned to the end of the video and I'll show you how you can get one for yourselves. If you like the video, then give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see future videos on how to sow and grow fruit and veg and some recipe ideas, then subscribe to the channel. In order to produce the vegetable calendar, what you need to do is look at the packets of seeds that you've got, look on the back, and in most cases it's going to tell you when to sow them, when to plant them out if they're indoor sowing, when to harvest them, and you can translate those dates into your calendar. And when I did that for all of my seeds that I've got for the next growing season, I looked back and referred to my vegetable planner on my allotment and realised that I needed to move things around. Because for example, I had 3 bays of potatoes that I wanted to grow, and with everything that I want to grow next year, I realised I needed more space, so I had to cut that down to 2. And also, looking at the calendar, I realised I had to move stuff around based upon when I was going to plant them. So it's a really useful thing to do, because the problem is that, and I've done this in the past, I'm sure a lot of people listening to this will relate to this, you'll get to a stage in the growing season, it could be April, May, June, July, whenever, and you'll think to yourself, oh, I wish I planted that, or I'm too late now to put this in, because you've got so much to think about in the allotment in relation not just to the plants and the vegetables that you're going to grow, but also all the things that you need to do as well. But just having a vegetable planner like that allows you on a weekly basis to see what's coming up, so you can think, oh, I need to plant that now, because you can see it's a few weeks ahead. So the benefits are absolutely fantastic. Another good benefit I've found with the vegetable calendar is that it allows me to think about succession planning. So actually from the calendar I can see when vegetables are likely to be harvested, and that will let me know when the space is going to be freed up in various parts of my allotment, and then I can look at that point in time, what can I plant at that point in time. Now previously I've done that randomly. I've not really had any strategy for doing that. So having the vegetable planner has a major benefit in relation to making your allotment or your garden more productive, particularly if you've got a very small, I'm very lucky to have a very large allotment plot, but if you've got a small garden, you want to get the very most out of that garden, and having a vegetable calendar and a vegetable planner to be able to make sure that you are as efficient as possible will allow you to grow much more veg most of the year. So it's a really good thing to have. So there's lots of benefits to doing the vegetable planner. What I'll do is have the vegetable planner. I've got it on my computer, but I can print it off. I can put it in my potting shed or on my in my allotment, and it's always something to always look at the next stage, what's coming next. And if you haven't got that, you're sort of almost trying to remember everything. And as you know, those of you who've got allotments and gardens who've grown vegetables for a while, there's too much to remember. So hopefully, if you do produce this for your own garden or your own allotment, you'll find the vegetable planner a really useful resource which you can adapt and change every single year. So when you open up the calendar, this is what you're going to see for the first time. Now remember, this calendar is set up for my planting, but all the formatting is there for you to adapt it how you want to use it. So the first thing I would do if I was you, before you do anything, is save a copy of this as like a master document. So press save or save as, and then you have a copy, and then you can amend this, and therefore if you feel like you've made any errors, you've always got the original copy. So this is what the calendar looks like. As you can see, all the dates, this is set for 2021. All of the dates of the weeks across the top, week beginning 4th of January onwards, these are the Monday dates. And if you scroll through, you'll notice that it goes through right through to December, which is the end of the year. So it's for the full calendar year. Also, you'll notice the coding as well. So anything as a red line is where the vegetable will be sowed indoors. Where it's blue, it will be where you sow it outdoors. Green is plant out, and yellow is harvest. And the simple way you'll do this is you'll get your seeds that you want to grow, whatever varieties you want to grow, and you'll list them on the left hand side of the calendar, as you can see. And I've put the variety in as well, so I've always got a record of what variety I've grown. And then what you'll do is translate the information from the seed packet, which will vary. Some seed packets will have the colour bars similar to what you can see on the screen here. Some will have just words, and it'll tell you that you will sow from January through to March, and you can add in the colours that suit whatever the seed packet is telling you. So that's where you get your information from. And if you scroll up, you can see that I've got all the varieties that I'm currently planning to grow for this calendar year. So the way to amend it then, so if you want to use this calendar, clearly this isn't going to suit you because you're going to be growing different varieties, different vegetables, etc. But what you can do is you can utilize the formatting of this calendar for your own purposes. So for example, what you could decide to do is delete. So click on, in this case, the number here, which is the bottom one, and scroll upwards. I'll leave a few lines in just to show you. And if I leave in 3 or 4 varieties, so you can see that everything below carrots is highlighted. Stay on the numbers and then right click with your mouse and then press delete. Don't be alarmed by this is fine. And if we scroll up to the top, we'll notice now that all that's left is the 4 top varieties. And the reason that I've left a few of them in there is because we're going to utilize the formatting so that you don't have to start everything from scratch. Microsoft Excel is very clever in that it remembers or utilizes information that's already in the spreadsheet. So let's say you want to grow your own variety of cabbage. So what you can do is you can, to add a vegetable line in, click on one of the Brussels sprouts. So highlight 11 and 12 by clicking on the number, hold it on the 11 and scrolling down. Then you've got Brussels sprouts highlighted, and that will highlight the whole of those 2 rows. Then on 11 and 12, keep your cursor on 11 and 12 and right click with your mouse and then press insert. Now notice it's put 2 new lines above Brussels sprouts because that's what we've told it to do. We've told it to insert. Then what you want to do is you want to clear this of all the formatting that is already there. So what we'll do is we will go to Brussels sprouts, click 13 and 14, and what we're going to do here now is we're going to right click with our mouse and we're going to press copy. Another way of doing that is to highlight it like this and then go to file, edit and copy, which is up here just under the home page here. You can do it the same way, but the simplest way to do it is to right click your mouse and press copy. Then what we're going to do, in the cells that we've just inserted, we're going to highlight 11 and 12, and now we're going to click on the number, right click on 11 and 12, and then now we're going to press paste. And there you can see Brussels sprouts now has appeared in there. So basically all you've done is created extra space and you've just copied the formatting from below it. Now clearly you don't want Brussels sprouts in there, you want whatever it is that you're going to grow. So you can just double click on the cell, highlight it, delete it, and then just press cabbage, and then same in variety, click on there, delete it and type in whatever. Put Gary, put my name. Be nice if there was a variety of cabbage called Gary, but there isn't. Now we clearly don't want these cells here because they relate to what's below in terms of the color codings. So what we'll do, click on 11 and 12 again, and we'll go up here, which is where you can see the fill color. Click on there and we'll go to no fill. Now that allows us to empty the cells because obviously you're going to insert your colors based upon what the seed packets are telling you. And then all you'll do is look on your seed packets, and if it says you've got to sow indoors from January through to March, you can click on the first cell in January and then scroll across, keep your cursor down, scroll across all the way to March, and then go up to the fill where we've just been, fill colour, click on the down arrow next to it, and then select red, because that's the code that represents sow indoors. And you'll do that for all the other colours. So say for example there's plant out from May through to June, highlight May through to June, and then we'll go up to the fill and press green. And that is how you will build up your own seed and planting calendar. What you will then be able to do is clearly see what you need to plant and when. So this was your seed calendar, and you will build. If you wanted to insert others, you can highlight. Remember, highlight the numbers. Right click, press insert, and then you've got your. It depends on what it puts in here. I mean, it's put nothing in here, but just so that you keep the formatting, remember to pick a line, a previous line of vegetables below it, just 2 lines. Press copy. You can on a Windows PC or computer, you can either right click and press copy, or you can press Control C on your keyboard, and that will do the same thing. Copy it. Then you'll highlight the 2 numbers over here, and then you will right click and press paste here, paste special or paste, and it will then add them in for you. Or instead of pressing paste on a Windows PC, you can press Control and V, and that's paste. And then you've got your added line in there. Remember, we need to amend it, so we'll double click on there, put whatever vegetable it is. We'll have kale, variety, Gary 2, whatever the variety is. And then we'll take out the fill by highlighting the numbers, because remember each vegetable is unique, up to the fill colour icon at the top here. Click the little arrow next to it and go to no fill, and now we've got our line for the kale, and then we can go to our vegetables to see what the seed packet is telling us about when it should be sowed indoors, outdoors, plant out, or harvest. And that is how you amend and update your calendar. And everybody will have different vegetables to grow, different varieties. So everybody's calendar is going to be different. When you come to next year, if you want to do another calendar, you can keep a record of this. And just at the bottom here, you can create a new tab. You can right click and you can rename it, and you might call it 2022. But notice it's empty. So the way you'll do it is copy your previous calendar in there, go to your original calendar, click on this button here, which is the one in the top, the little arrow that's pointing in the bottom right hand corner, and it will highlight everything there. Then we'll press copy. You can right click your mouse and press copy, or press Control C, and then that highlights everything. Then we're going to go into the calendar, into the 2022 tab we just created. Click on the same button again because it's empty, and then right click and then press paste and OK, and then it will give you your exactly a replica of what you've done. The only thing it hasn't copied is my icon, which it doesn't generally do anyway, and it's zoomed in at 100%. For the purposes of the demonstration, I've been using a view of 75% here, so I could get more of the calendar on there, but you can change the view of zooming in and out by going to view. You can go to zoom and you can pick 100% and watch this go larger. See, it goes larger. If you go to zoom out, I've done 75%. You can just see more of it. And that's how you edit and update your calendar. At the moment we're in week 2. So this is week commencing the 11th. So if you highlight this here, highlight the D at the top, it gives you a line to see which week in, and then you can have a look at what's coming. So I know, for example, that I can need to think about whether I want to plant broad beans indoors starting from the 1st of February. I'm not going to this year because I've already got a variety outdoors, and if you've looked at my videos you'll see that. But also Brussels sprouts, they also will need to go indoors in February. So, and then as you build up your calendar, you can always highlight what like I've just done. There's a column D in this case, whatever the week you're on, and you can look at what's coming over the next few weeks to plan your sowing and planting. So as a new feature on my videos, each video I'm going to feature a couple of questions that I've been asked by people who have put them in the comments on previous videos. So if you do have any questions, then please put them in the comments box below. It doesn't necessarily have to relate specifically to the video content, it could be about anything, and then I'll pick 2 or 3 to answer per video. So if you have got a question, just pop it into the comments below. So the first question that I'm going to respond to is one that relates to a video I did about a month and a half ago in relation to how to create your own leaf mould. It's a question from Moontang Ung, who asked, where do I get all the leaves from? And that might, to some of you who live in rural areas where you've got lots of leaves, that might seem like, well, it's obvious where you get the leaves from. But of course people may live in places where they haven't got a supply of leaves around. Locally, I'm very lucky. I've got lots of. I live in a semi-rural area, so there's lots of trees, and also on my allotment, there's lots of trees around there, so it's very easy to get the leaves. But you can go and collect them from local parks or public areas if you haven't got an immediate supply around you. What I would say is, though, if you are going to collect leaves, don't collect them off roads or the sides of roads, only because they could possibly become contaminated with the the fumes from the exhausts and all those types of things. So when they do decompose, they might not be completely clean. But really, get your leaves from pretty much anywhere you possibly can. The next question came from my video on growing garlic, which again I did a couple of months ago. I'll put the links to the videos in the comments below so you can have a look at them for yourself. It came from Sarin Tash. And she said that she grows garlic bulbs, but they don't seem to be very large. Her actual comment was growing, but not always good bulbs. And that can depend upon the type of soil, the type of variety you grow, and also the climate. Generally, garlic is fairly robust. It depends on which variety you grow. I planted mine, as you saw in that video, in sort of middle to late November, and they've already germinated. And you want to plant garlic in free draining soil as well, because what you don't want to do is get them waterlogged. Also, as you'll see from the video, that garlic likes to have a certain amount of days of cold weather, and that's what allows the bulbs to split. I grew garlic a few years ago, and I put them in very late, and they didn't split. It just came as one large bulb. So really, it's just a case of looking at what variety you've got and making sure your ground conditions are suitable for that particular variety. And if you do that, then hopefully next year you'll get good, strong bulbs. So all you need to do then to get a copy of the Sowing and Planting Calendar, just pop a comment in the comments box below. I'll leave my email address and I'll send you one completely free of charge. Hopefully the video has been useful, so that when you do get it, you can amend it exactly to suit whether you've got a small garden or a large garden. It's going to be really useful. Just before I finish, just why am I filming here behind me? And it's a real prelude to my next video. Behind me is a store that we have at the bottom of our garden, and I'm going to, over the next couple of weeks, convert this into a potting shed. It's got electric, it's got power, but it's a bit full and cluttered at the moment. So in my next video I'm going to show you how I've done that, and also maybe show you some of the plants that I'm going to put in there. So if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on the next video.